Good morning. We are going to look at Paul again, and let us go straight into 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verses 7 to 10. And lest I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelations, a thorn in my flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I be exalted above measure. Concerning this thing, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in needs, in persecutions, in distress, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. What an amazing perspective of challenges that we may face. A thorn in his flesh, pleaded with God, but God said, no, I'm not going to remove it. My grace is sufficient to keep you in the midst of it. And this is a glorious testimony. And Paul's perspective here is not focusing on the problem, but focusing on the fact that because the problem is there, he is going to receive that grace from God, that community with God, that influence from God, that empowerment from God. This is the perspective that we ought to hold when we go through challenges in life. I think if we're able to do this, that we would have come to a place of tremendous spiritual maturity. Let this be our goal, that when we look at challenges, it is not so much about God, when, remove, but more so, God, give me your grace. And I am certain in the midst of this that Paul would have been a light shining for many people. How often do we see persons, amputees, loss of arms and limbs, but yet they're going about life, yet they're taking part in different sports and different events and champions in different aspects. And when we look upon it, we are moved. We are persons with hands and feet, and sometimes we don't even do as much as the persons who do not have how they're able to do it. We are moved, and that is a tremendous testimony that speaks to people and motivate others. When we as children of God sit in the midst of our challenge, whatever it is, and continue to look up to God, receive his grace, and live that holy life before him in obedience, we too will be a light shining before men, demonstrating the love of God, the grace of God, and encouraging them to come into salvation. God's grace is sufficient. And when we are weak, he is strong. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. God's strength is seen in our weakness. It reminds me of that scripture, John 3:30. I must decrease and he must increase. God is seen more in the midst of our challenges when we utilize his grace and we rise. His light and his glory is seen, and it is seen in a way to motivate persons to come on into salvation. Glory in your thorns, glory in your challenges, glory in those things. Embrace those things, not because you like trouble or challenges, but because the grace of God is ever available and sufficient to keep you. And in the midst of it, you're building your character. In the midst of it, you're shining before men. And in the midst of it, you are also building your relationship with God and glorifying him. God bless you.